Hey everybody, it's Travis with Food Forest Design Minnesota, and I'm driving home from working with a client, and just a thought came to me from I saw a Facebook post that has the same mindset that I do with growing food and solving problems. And one thing that growing food everywhere, and I'm talking not just in your backyards, I'm talking on public property in every city. Think about it. Our tax dollars pay for the government to take care of our communities. That's what our tax dollars are supposed to do. But mostly our tax dollars get wasted and spent on stuff that we don't need. But the people that are in charge of all the money are just doing pet projects for their friends. They're all on the tank. They're all getting paid. They're all corrupt. They don't do things for the people. And that's why we as people need to start taking the power back from these scumbags. Okay? But anyway, in our all our public land that is free, that's free land. We can walk on there anytime. It's public. Okay? Because our tax dollars pay for that. Our tax dollars own that land. So what would hurt? And instead of planting ornamental trees in the landscapes and all these city buildings like the police station, city hall, the libraries, all that stuff, they have nothing but green grass and ornamental trees. Very, very rarely do you have food producing plants or trees on these properties. Very, very rarely. But what I'm saying is, along the sidewalks in cities, there's always planter boxes to make the city look nice. And they have flowers in there. But what's wrong with having apple trees along the street? Cherry trees, pear trees, plum trees. You got all types of things that you can grow. And I'm not just talking about Minnesota here. I'm talking about all across the United States, all across the world. And, we can grow certain things here in Minnesota with our climate the way it is. But those trees, obviously, just like any other tree, goes dormant in the winter, wakes back up in the spring, and does its thing again. And we pay people for the government to take care of all these ornamental trees. But what do these ornamental trees give back to us? Shade. What? Anything else but shade? And they might look nice in the fall when the leaves change colors. That's all you're getting, and then a mess in the street a so-called mess. All right, but if used properly, all the leaves that come down on a tree are beneficial, and should be used in the landscape to build soil. But besides that, now we plant in all the landscapes around all these public buildings. We plant fruit trees and berry bushes and insect attractors. We have, bee gardens, butterfly gardens, rock ponds, every type of thing. We have native grasses growing, but everything is food producing or beneficial to help the landscape. Because what does grass give you? I'm waiting. I'll wait. Grass does nothing but help with erosion. That's it. Otherwise, it's the most poisoned crop in the world or in the United States that produces zero yield. It doesn't produce anything. But everybody and their mother, their grandma, is buying Monsanto and Roundup and all this crap to spray on your green lawn so you don't get dandelions, which are good for you, and weeds. So everybody's poisoning their lawn, and then what happens with that when it rains? It washes into the street, don't it? And it goes down the sewer system and gets into what? Our water supply, right? Plus, it's in the DNA of everything that's growing. But grass doesn't do anything. We can replace grass with better, but stuff that will give back to the people. Okay, now the point I'm trying to get at is the people that are negative Nellies that don't understand the concept because they have cognitive dissonance. They believe everything is the way it is right now and it shouldn't change. That it would be a chore or it'd be a problem to change over from ornamental trees to food producing trees. Okay? The funniest excuse I get, which is number one, there's two, I get pushback on two things. And they're both don't make, it's kind of funny. But the first one is, who is going to prune the trees? Who's going to take care of the trees? In the current state, with ornamental trees on the side of our roads and all that stuff, who takes care of them? Besides nature. The city workers are currently taking care of all the trees, pruning them and cleaning up the mess in the fall, right? When the leaves get on the ground, they go and do all that, right? But if you replace an ornamental tree, every one you take down, you replace with a food producing tree or plant in its place, it's still being taken care of by the same people. You don't need to change anything, right? And then you get well, who's going to clean up all the fruit that falls off the tree that doesn't get eaten, right? There's wildlife, and everything that falls off and goes right back into the grass goes right back into the soil where it belongs. It builds soil. It's constantly building soil. You're not poisoning. You don't need pesticides. You don't need herbicides. You don't need chemicals, because your systems are constantly rebuilding and building the soil. Because if you plant everything out intelligently and smart, you plant out your system to where everything that grows is supporting everything that's growing there. So there's nothing wasted, right? But everything is going right back to nature that does not get eaten. All right, but it's going to make a mess. Everything makes a mess right now. That's a cop-out. That's not using logical thinking. That is the first thing that comes to your mind is the first thing that comes to your mind is who's going to clean up the mess. All right, that doesn't make much sense to me. That's the first thing you come up with, but we just dispelled that, right? So that's not a problem. This is the funniest one. What if the homeless people come and pick all the fruit off the tree? Well, they're going to go down the corner and sell it. So the homeless people are going to steal the fruit and vegetables off of everything, and then they're going to go sell it on the corner. That is what you would think. That's how your mind works. Okay? I could see how you could think that. Because they want to make money because they're what? They're hungry. Desperate people steal. People that are desperate to eat steal to get money to buy food. See where I'm going with this? You have food growing everywhere. Okay? There's going to be an abundance everywhere. Well, do people with full bellies, are they out committing crimes? Are they worried about where their next meal is coming from? They're not, are they? Because they can go eat wherever they want. They can walk in any park in the city. Every tree down the street is going to provide food for somebody. Okay? If they don't have to spend all their money on food, guess what? They have more money for everything else. Homelessness will go away. Will not be as big of a problem. Okay? Crime will decrease because people aren't committing crimes because they are not hungry. There's food for everybody. Food security. Right now we have food insecurity. Not only isn't there enough food to go around, there's not enough healthy food in the areas that need it most. Your inner city neighborhoods, they have convenience stores. They don't have grocery stores. What kind of healthy food are you going to get in a convenience store? There's nothing. Everybody's eating boxed food, processed food, ultra-processed food, and you wonder why the health is so crappy in poor cities. Everybody's sick from the food they're eating because they're malnourished. They're not getting the nutrition. But if you have food growing everywhere, guess what? Nobody goes hungry. There's no food insecurity. There's food security. People are happy. People learn self-sufficiency because not only is there food growing everywhere else, but you educate them. You have programs that benefit people and pay people for growing food in their own yards. It benefits everybody when you do this. Okay? We need to get away from the processed foods, the ultra-processed foods. The fruit and vegetables you're getting in your grocery stores has no nutritional value in it. It's picked 2 or 3 weeks ago overseas or somewhere on the East Coast or the West Coast. All right? So what do? They spray it with chemicals, right? They spray it with chemicals and it's safe, right? But they spray it with the chemicals so it does not rot on the way to the grocery stores where it looks really pretty for you so you can come and buy it. And then when you get it home, there's no nutritional value left in that. 3 weeks ago, it had 100% nutritional value when they picked it. But they picked it before it was ripe. Okay? They pick it before it's ripe, and it gets its color on the way to the grocery store. And like apples, I think they're stored for months and months and months because they spray them and this stuff is not safe, okay? We need to get locally grown food. You know where your food is coming from, but it's grown with no pesticides, no chemicals, no fertilizers. Everything is grown with nature in mind. Okay? It's scientific. It's a design science. You are designing ecosystems in all your neighborhoods, in your yards. You're becoming self-sufficient. Okay? The only people who don't like this are people who are taking advantage of our tax dollars and the people that are selling us the food in the stores. 20% of the food in the grocery store. If you think I'm full of shit, go to the grocery store. Only 20% of the food in the grocery store is actually real food. Everything else is not. It's in a box. It's fake. It's full of chemicals. 10,000 chemicals in our foods in the United States that are banned all around the world because it's not good for you. All the other countries in the world have laws against these chemicals and dyes, colors, all that stuff. And so the companies in the U.S. that want to sell over in those places, they make the healthy version for them. But guess who's eating the shitty poison version? Your kids. Oh, your kids are eating it. They grow up on the crap. All these dyes are making these kids crazy, man. There's cancer. I mean, all these kids are sick. They got stomach issues. They got mental issues. I mean, it's crazy. And once you get in that cycle of being unhealthy, now you're a slave to big pharma. So they own you because they're going to put you on medications. You're not going to go to a doctor that's going to say, here, change your diet and you will change your life. You will heal yourself by eating properly. They'd rather give you a pill because it keeps you coming back over and over. They make their money every time you walk in the door. They got that copay. And then they make money off the insurance companies. If your insurance covers those medications, I mean, come on. Doesn't cost $2,000 or $3,000 for a pill or a prescription. Who's making all that money? Who do you think? That's getting off on a tangent. But do you see how thinking it's a mess in the street or homeless people are going to steal the food and sell it on a corner when there's going to be food growing everywhere? The mess, that's not a problem. I mean, the community is going to be happy there's food growing everywhere. So the community will police itself. Community takes care of its own community. There's kids, there's people. How many people live in a community, right? Everybody's going to take care of themselves. And whatever mess is there. I mean, it's not rocket science, people. Oh, that's just, I saw these comments and it's always somebody who thinks it's a waste of our tax dollars to grow food everywhere because it's going to be expensive. Well, how many times do you plant a tree? I think I heard one time. And how many apples are on a tree each year? They start out as they get bigger, as the tree grows, they have a larger yield. They have more and more apples, right? And now it comes back every year. So it increases in value, increases its yield. All right? I want to finish. I hope you see where I'm going with this. But leave me some comments below if you agree with these people who think it's a waste of our tax dollars to put into it, or it's a good thing. And what do you think of homeless people stealing it and selling it on the street corner? Because I don't see it. I think it's a silly excuse for just being, it's cognitive dissonance. You just don't want to believe, you want to believe everything should be the way it is right now, but you don't think there's a solution. We need to get the poisons out of our food. We need to get these scumbags out of our food industry, selling us poison food. It's making our kids sick. And they're lifelong customers for who? Big Pharma. And once you get in that system, it's like a hamster wheel. How many of you have sick kids with stomach problems? I know some. You know, how many? It's crazy. Once you get stuck, diabetes. Come on, look at all these fat kids. It's because of the food they're eating. Processed food is not made for humans. Trust me. A lot of the chemicals in the food are not for human consumption. Period. And some of the stuff that's grown by these companies is grown with frankenseeds, with GMO seeds that do not belong in a human body. And they're made to kill bugs when they eat, to keep the pests off of it. That's in the DNA of that plant, and then you eat it. It doesn't take 2 plus 2 is 4 when you think about it. It's not 5, it's not 3. Open your mind and start thinking. The solutions. The only ones who lose out are the poison producers and the ones who are making all the money off of you and your children. Okay, there's a better way. Because if we continue going the way we are, it's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. Okay. You can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples in a seed. Grow food, not lawns. See ya.